No, I've worked out I can use a different camera on a different share screen. No, you'll get, yeah. No, you'll see OBS. You'll see the OBS screen. So what I see live. So instead of having the delay. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to V8 Vets Season 11, Race 11, coming from the one and only Road America. And tonight I've got a cast of thousands in Discord. We've got Hoffy, Ben Anthony, Blanchy, Dave Garbett, Mark Dial, Hazy, Phil Marsh has dropped in, Scotty Perrins is in, Vargs is in, and Will Munro. How are we, gentlemen?
Good, yeah, good, mate.
Good, thanks, mate.
Good.
Good. It's good. It's all really good. So I'll just change cameras for a minute and see if I can get a far blimp one. And we'll have a quick look at the grid because it was an interesting grid to look at. So we'll go to the grid. So I'm pole starting at the back. Start at the front. Sorry about that. Might work better. So on pole we've got Dave Garbett from Hypersonic with Blanchy sharing the front row with him from Peckies. Matty McMillan was third. And Will Munro in Legacy Sim Sports in fourth. Laurie Sanders in fifth. That was a cracking effort from Laurie to be that far up. Myself in sixth. Gary Buckland in seven. Andrew Galley in eight. Ed Cullenback in ninth. Sir David Galley in 10th. And Darren Walden and Jeff Eddy on the next row. And then after that, we had Scotty Perrins back in 13th with Marshy in 14th. Pete Kelleher all the way back in 15th. Lofty was our safety car driver. And Simon Farrington and Lucas Burt brought up the back row with Jason Dunn and our other safety car driver.
No, I was behind that. It's one more row, mate.
One more again? We'll go again.
One more row.
Oh, Hazy. Sorry.
Yeah, I was down there with Dazza.
I was being polite. Darren Friend back there as well.
Gonna leave me out.
Sorry, mate. And I don't know, he's attacked my chat, but I'll take that. Big shout out to Dave Baldock. Apparently he's coming back next season to, apparently the words were dominate us. So
Dominate.
You got who's us?
So of course,
hail the evil overlord.
Of course, I'm going to let out a WK&P. Actually, I'll let out a WK&P secret. We've been doing some team test sessions with an AI car called Dave Baldock, and unfortunately, that car struggles to get around the track in one piece.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all, even if it was AI. Even with the real driver behind it, it'd still struggle.
Anyway, we'll make a cracking start of this one. We'll jump back to cameras and we'll get going. As we sit on the grid here, we're away. Nice little start from Blanchy.
And I didn't fall asleep this time on the grid.
No, I noticed that.
Surprised me, actually. I kept looking in my right mirror, and there's a car there. There's a car there. Oh, he's still there.
Plenty of no-dos.
Yeah, plenty of no-dos, but I think also the longer gear ratios are a bit better with the the handbrake and
Matty McMillan doing a bit of cross country.
start.
You put the lawnmower blades back on Maddie's car.
Yeah, it looks like we did.
No, he just moved across and tried to squeeze me, and I just tagged his rear bar.
What are you doing here, Dave? You lifted.
Yep.
And I got no iRacing sound on our chat here, so I'm not sure what's going on there.
I lifted.
Yeah, I'm sitting there going, crafty bugger. I bet you he's using me to save fuel.
That was the plan at this point in time. Yes. Right.
I thought that's what you're up to.
I could sit there with 3/4 of a throttle. Also, yeah, I struggled finding momentum around all of these corners until later in the race. So when I had nothing in front of me, it was like, how fast am I meant to be going? I can't tell. So having following somebody who knew what they were doing, and Blanche, you definitely knew what you were doing.
I don't know. You put in a pretty good. I was going to say you put in a pretty good lap time for practice. Was that with the toe? Might answer the question.
I might have got a touch off Barrington up along one of the straights, which between a couple of hundreds. It's not right.
It was a bloody good lap.
Yes, it was. It was my personal best lap time, and I don't know where it came from. I hadn't been close to cracking sort of 2:07.2 all week in other practices. It's like I finally actually managed to put a lap together. I surprised myself.
Hey, Pete.
There you go.
I think he's trying to get the sound back.
Yeah, I think I've got it right now. I'm still here. Got sound, I hope.
Yeah, sound's on. Just
Yeah.
need the leaderboard.
Need the leaderboard? Oh, jeez.
Timing tower.
Oh yeah,
Timing tower. You can chuck a map on.
There we go.
Next, he'd be asking for professionals.
We are professionals. Just ask us.
There we go.
Love your work, Johnny. Love your work.
Getting there. The problem is switching between two events each week.
What the hell is that car there?
That,
Whose colour scheme is that?
that's Laurie, yeah.
Lorry.
Yeah, that's not the paint he raced in.
I was going to say he must have changed it since then.
Yeah, no, he's got the new Scorpion one on.
That was the one he raced in last night, wasn't it?
The
Not
new
on that
Scorpion one.
The new Scorpion one, yeah.
Yeah.
He's having some computer issues. We need to get it fixed for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a computer tech bloke there. Now something wrong with his hard drive, got bad sectors or something, so he's new one tomorrow.
I was going to say she's a nice colourful scheme though. I didn't remember seeing it last night.
Thank you, I designed that one.
There's another one of those WK&P lawnmowers.
You know, they're the right colour. If they go bush or camouflage, you can't see them.
Johnny, you need to chase Massport for a sponsor.
Yeah, probably should.
Oh, there we
Jim's
go.
mowing.
I'd still like the non-spec map version.
Oh, don't tell Matt that.
There was a lot of chatter in the race control the other night about the colours of the WK&P cars. It was quite an interesting conversation. I won't reveal any of it because I don't want to dob anyone in, but yeah.
Of course, Mark, you've moved across to the other side of the fence with the East Coast Series, doing a bit of the old race control. How are you finding it?
It's good. It's good to watch from a different perspective. I haven't had to do any laps in the safety car, thank Christ. So I haven't done a flip into the wall. Okay, Cameron at Sebring. So yeah. Well, I'm betting I'll have to do a lap or two at some stage.
It's pretty rare for a series like that not to have one yet.
Yeah, well, Sebring's coming up, isn't it?
It is. It definitely is.
So yeah, Cameron, I am not going to follow your lead.
Not on purpose, anyway.
Yeah.
No, I
His own
actually
corner.
do test laps during the afternoon. And I know that I'm getting it right.
It is a fine art of going around at 80 k's.
It is.
Cold tyres catch you out big time.
I know I did quite a few laps around Sebring in the Aston Martin for the Pro Series, absolutely panicking that I was going to get called out.
It'd be everyone's nightmare. You never hear the end of it.
Oh, absolutely. Dunny on the
Just lap
movie.
3.
Hey, Scotty, can you meet your, whatever it is, mate? Got feedback coming through. So you're looking forward to qualifying for next season?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I am.
Absolutely.
Good fun.
I'm
And
hoping to have something new for the rig before then. Hoping. Praying.
Oh,
Safety car.
Safety
Cup
car.
holder.
Yeah, well, it could be a holder, yeah.
Yep.
Well, I've actually fixed up the desk underneath the steering wheel today, so that's a start. My keyboard won't jump up and down when I'm typing.
So, as you can see, we just go past the safety car. Safety car didn't come out in time, so Gary Buckland assumed the honours of being the safety car. Did a very good job, by the way, too, Gary. You didn't put it in the wall.
Yeah.
so we were the only split to have the safety car, weren't we?
Yes.
Yes. So it's interesting what happens here.
Yeah, a lot of drivers dove in.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's,
Well, not a
yeah,
lot, but a few.
it was on that critical lap
Yes,
number.
a few of us did.
Yeah, it's on the critical lap
Right
number.
on.
Yeah.
I seen him doing
You
it, so I
only-
went, I'll do it too.
Yeah, I was going to say, Dave, did you only go because I went, or was it because you were going to go anyway?
It's because I had auto fuel turned on, and it's
Yep.
just set to fuel to the end and 94 litres, and 2 or 3 laps under safety car where you don't cook the tyres. Yeah, it was like, okay, this gets it out of the way, and gives me an opportunity to sit down and cruise. Because the bonus was you went in as well, and then Will followed us in, which was great. So, and all 3 of us basically come out in exactly the same spot. So it's like, right, we've got an opportunity here we'll all be held up
And
in traffic a little bit. And
I was going to say, Scotty Perrin's come in as well with us, and
Yeah, I did
hope
too.
to see that. Yeah, that plays out for him later on in the race.
nice.
Yeah, I was in 15, so when it can't hurt, so I dove in at the same time.
Yeah, I must apologise everyone tonight. We were going to have an in-depth interview with Anthony Visma, but unfortunately Anthony's made himself unavailable to face the tough questions.
As per usual.
That's okay. So yeah, it was just easy to keep up with you that way, Chris. 'Cause if I lost you, it was like, okay, once I lose him, that's it, I'm done.
Oh, it was just interesting because again, us as a team, I was surprised so few actually came in, because us as a team, we did our normal in the half hour or so before the sessions open. We sat down and said, okay, well, this is how many litres of fuel we use. This is our windows. So if we get a safety car, we do this. I think they were talking in the previous race. Okay, you work through a couple of options, and we basically come to the conclusion that basically anything after the race start, if there was a safety car, we'd dive in and fill up full of fuel, because considering you do a couple of laps then trailing the safety car, you were gonna make it home. So it really surprised me how few actually did come in.
Yeah, and look at the auto fuel thing with either crew chief or race labs for me. It's like, it's going to fuel it to 94. I've stuffed up my pit stops on the last however many races. It's like, and I've got the perfect opportunity if it takes me an extra 2 or 3 seconds in the pits, or 5 seconds, or 10 seconds. Even if I balls up the entry and get a 26-second stop and go, I'm not losing that much, because
Yeah.
I'll just get back on the back of the train. So, that was my thoughts on going in under safety car. Regardless of when it came out, even if it was like lap 2.
Yeah.
Which,
No, I was going to say, I think they were talking there about the guys missed the safety car. I think that's how we stuffed up the safety car, because us front 2 or 3, we all ducked in the go, well, hang on, where's the leaders?
who's first? So, yep. Yeah, that was actually quite amusing, because you hear, safety car leaving the pits, and then on crew chief, and then the next thing Gary's gone past. So it's very amusing on comms.
Yes, definitely was. And Ben Anthony, I've been asked a question from the chat thread, and we'd like to know how next season the splits are going to work, and why the blue 37 is your favourite driver.
Well, to answer the second part of that question, it'll be a very, very short answer. Kind of like Shetland pony short.
Come on, stay on the pony here, Ben.
Sorry?
Stay on the pony here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Don't fall off.
Sorry, yeah, sorry.
Around.
Well, he's not my favourite driver. Yep, that's about it. In terms of splits, at the moment we have 125 registered drivers for next season. So we are looking at doing 45 for split 1 and 40 for split 2 and 3. So quite decent sized fields. Any more than that, we would contemplate split 4, but I really don't want to have to deal with that.
No.
So yeah, that's pretty much where we're at.
Oh, I think going the big numbers you're talking about, and looking like we've only got 20 cars in this one at the end of the season. So I think if you do what you're saying there, then at least halfway through the season, you're going to be insured pretty good size splits.
That was the mindset behind it. And even if we have 40 at the start, half drop, even if a third drop out, we've still got 25, 28.
Ben, just a question though. What's the restriction on the track with the smallest grid spaces that we're racing next season?
More than that.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's fine.
It's when you start getting to like high 40s, 50s. That's when you start to have some dramas. So.
Yeah, like Oran Park.
No, Oran Park, you can fit 50 odd.
Now, Craig Healy, off the chat, another regular viewer, has asked another question. Ben, who is your favourite driver?
Well, there's 124 incorrect answers. So I'm gonna piss off more people to make happy.
Just say Ayrton Senna or Michael Schumacher, and you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we talking in vets or in real life?
No, well, he asked who's your favourite
driver.
He didn't say
who, where, or what.
Well,
there was no
wait until mid-November, and I'll say myself.
I was going to say, if one of your kids got a billy card or something, get some brainy points at home.
Nah, wait till mid-November and it'll be me.
Yes, the man is coming.
Yep.
And I got told another man is coming the same time in Sean McNamara. So
Yes.
that'll be a cat amongst a pigeon for the split 1, boys.
Oh, big time.
Oh, that puts McKnight down another spot then, doesn't it?
I dread the day that he ends up in split 2. I think that might be the day I retire from running vets.
Yes.
Yeah,
it'll happen. It'll happen.
A few boys here talking before we came on were saying the same thing about Baldock coming into split 3.
Bulldog's got no, we got nothing to worry about with Bulldog. He'll bring out the rear of the field.
Don't worry, if you read through the rules, it says there that if we believe anyone's sandbagging, can promote or relegate, so...
Who's going to give us a split 2 replay, Bulldog, if you come to split 3? Just saying, mate.
Problem solved.
We never know, John and Dave might swap next season.
Yeah, I'm in P3. I'm in P3 at the moment, but I don't think I finished there.
It's going to be a very interesting dynamic next season when we're talking about some of these quicker guys that are becoming eligible and coming in.
Yeah.
And see who is going to be in split 2. It's going to be really interesting.
Well, if you have a look at the top 20 this season, like if you have a look at some of the names that aren't in the top 20, and then you have a look at, like, if everything happens the way it normally happens, you're probably going to see probably Trav, Paul, and John to split 2, to split 1. But you never know. Shit happens. That leaves basically 22 spots amongst like guys like probably Jamie has to requalify, just because of the start of the season he had. You got John Latham, he'll have to requalify. Jason Bence is coming back, he'll have to requalify. Well, there's a lot of guys who should automatically get one of those spots who need to qualify for it. So, and then all you got new guys coming in who I know are quick, so they're probably going to take some of the spots. So some of the guys who are, if you're not in that top 20 at the moment, you split 1, you may not necessarily be there next season.
Yeah, I'd be very worried.
And then I was going to say, then when you have a look at the 2 tracks that got wheeled out in the wheel of death, they're short tracks, so the margins that you're probably going to be looking at in the pre-qualifying are going to be very, very small.
They're going to be because they're quick, short tracks. Yeah, we're talking. You might miss out on top split. I reckon there's going to be someone who's going to miss out by hundredths, if not thousandths of a second.
Yeah, it's going to be tight because I know this season when we were at Mosport, I think I was getting like the top of split 3. We were getting close to a second within the top of split 1. So those margins are very tight.
Around in the fence.
Yeah, Lucas Burt, who had another one of the old push to talk but push to tow. So poor old Lucas was out early.
Yeah, you got to take that off your wheel. That's one of the first.
Never have it on your wheel.
The first time I ever did it was with Ben in a race for AOSC at Daytona Road. And that was the last time it ever. That was the last time it ever happened because I took it off the wheel.
I can remember doing it at Suzuka, and the first thing that got said to me after it happened was, "Did he just rage quit?" And I was like, "No, I didn't rage quit."
Do you want me to rage quit?
Who does them sort of things anyway?
Yeah,
exactly.
Who does those, Hazy?
Yeah, apart from me, who else rage quits? In my defence, though, I don't want to get penalised for like 3 weeks, and if I try to have a conversation asking for a tow, it isn't going to go well, so I just quit out. Because they tell me that swearing on comms isn't the sort of thing you meant to be doing.
Nah.
I only call if you have an accident and then quit and then get out and everything. I don't call that a rage quit. What I deem as a rage quit is if I give you a penalty and then you basically pull over, tow back, and then quit.
I don't do that. I just crash myself and then flip out without a mic on and quit.
I thought Dunny was getting close to it last night.
Dunny was, he probably said one or two things he probably shouldn't have to race control, and I don't think race control heard it, luckily.
I'll get that split 3 replay off you, John, if you don't mind.
Poor bugger got, he was having a close race, come onto Corbett Bridge and spun, and then I think Chris gobbled him up on the outside. I went to go down the inside because I was a bit further back and sideswiped him and sent him back off the track again. And yeah, he wasn't having a good time.
Actually, you were blinking quite a bit then, Dave. At that point, you were dropping in and out.
Oh, bugger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard someone calling about that, but I was watching Dave in my mirror. He was close enough I could still see him, and he wasn't dropping out on me.
I did notice you had a high ping rate at one stage before we started.
Yeah, it's my internet can be a little unreliable.
Temperamental?
Yeah, temperamental is a good way of
Well, here we go.
In the last 3 laps, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, this is true. We're not there yet.
How Dunny and Dave Galley, they're both off on the grass.
Yep.
Yeah.
Flashing lights.
Flashing lights.
Here we go.
Yeah. This is where we everybody up.
That unsettled you a little bit, unfortunately, Dave.
I don't know how they all stayed straight.
I actually was then having difficulties turning in one direction.
Oh.
So the steering wheel was still straight, but the car it had turned right okay, but it wouldn't turn left.
Oh, okay.
So I had to actually back off earlier on every single left-hander, get it a bit slower and get it turned in sooner because it just wasn't turning for me anymore. Not at the same rate of knots.
Yeah, because I said, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was a shame because I said he come back on and I held me breath.
Yeah.
And just see you there. You come off and
yeah.
I asked Scotty. I said, "What happened to Dave?" And he said, he had a turn. Oh, okay, rightio.
Yep. And that's where and that's where I've tried to give it a little bit because coming out of that corner, I'm on the throttle at the apex and steering straight and maybe a touch of oversteer coming out of that corner. Not a lot, just barely a fraction. And without that and being on the throttle, it just turned the car. So I did that lots and lots and lots of times in practice, turning the car on that corner.
Okay.
And I had to be a lot more aware of that in this stint after that little bump. So that's life.
Oh, absolutely.
This part was interesting. At this point, we're racing with Farrington, but we'd both already pitted, so we knew that once it got a bit further down the track, he had to go in and get fuel. So it was kind of a thing that we were trying to
manage,
not trade with him.
Yeah, and that was a very interesting aspect of that last night. For those of us after the safety car sitting at the back of the field, and then we're coming back at the back of the field, knowing that these guys have all got a pit yet.
Yeah.
We don't have to be in too much of a hurry.
Oh, the man, the Mr. Legend has arrived.
Seems to be a lot of smack talking about me at the moment.
I don't think he's a legend.
I don't remember talking about it at all.
Dave who? Never heard of him.
Somebody.
He's this new bloke.
Hey, Dave.
Pony.
Oh my god! Just remember, Dial, when I get into split 3, you're the first one I put into the fence. Because remember Donington?
Yeah, I remember Donington, buddy, and payback is coming.
quick!
When I lap you on Donington, I will pay back.
Lap me. Here we go. Wow.
Dave, I've actually missed racing with you. It was good last season in Split 2.
Don't worry, buddy.
Very quick question, technical question for Ben. When I load cars in, is it possible for me to load a different paint onto a car by putting in a different TGA file?
Yes.
And that affects the broadcast?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
God.
Oh, dear.
We can see what's coming.
If you want to pay the sponsors the money that they won't be getting on the broadcast, yes, that's fine.
Hey, this is a free broadcast. There's no sponsors paying money here.
So if you had a specific team, if you had a TGA file to your iRacing paints folder with the correct car and iRacing ID, it'll overwrite the paint. Unless trading paints, you have to turn trading paints off.
So what it means is I can actually have a blue 37 as our Dave Baldock AI car.
Don't know about the AI though. I don't know how you do AI.
I'm pretty sure there would be rules in the regs that says you couldn't do that.
No, there's none.
Wow.
So if John really wanted to, he could make the entire split 3 field all look like WK&P. If he really wanted to.
Yeah, but could you deal with all the vomit everywhere?
It is the conversation you're referring to, Mark.
Only vomit? verbal diarrhea.
I have to tell you, Stephen Vargas in this conversation. I haven't heard him once. Is he even here?
He's drunk.
He's probably drinking again.
Vargas, all right. Vargas was talking earlier.
Out the back.
That's the only reason I'm here, because I'm half cut.
Welcome to Friday night.
And I figured I'd better defend myself.
Matty's finally got past Gary.
Oh, there's a race on, is there? Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
It's obviously, no, it's not much of a race because Van Ree's in third, so obviously no one's trying.
It's a bit like every race you go in.
There's tactics in this one, mate.
Yeah.
He hadn't pitted yet.
I swear to God, if Ed doesn't smack him off the track, there's something wrong.
Can't let things out of the bag.
Gary. Come on, Gary, slam on your brakes.
I reckon Matty must be a sandbagger. Gee, he's faster than that.
Oh, he is. He's just getting bored and trying to make a race of it. Unbelievably.
Gary actually did drive well, to be honest.
Matty McMillan's a good bloke. He tried to join BAR, but he'd been tainted by that Wodonga fucking Albury thing, so we figured, nah, no chance.
I have to get the beat button out again.
Yeah.
We're out.
He's Baldock in.
I was going to say, Matty actually did do the fastest lap of the race, and it was by nearly a second over mine.
Wow.
Yeah, but you boys were going the long distance. He was going the sprints.
Yeah. And, plus I sort of, to me, I had championship in back of mind as well, so I wasn't pushing as hard as I probably could.
What I would have been doing, Chris, would have been trying to project thoughts of Matty having a dropout.
Hey, how come Matty McMillan's thumbnail is a picture of me and John Van Ree?
What's that? Oh,
Johnny McMillan's. It's you and me, Johnny.
Settler and Waldorf.
Yeah, what's going on?
Which one are you, Dave?
I'm the taller one, obviously.
It's about the right size nose.
Matches my ego.
Talking about how shit a race can be, I've decided my racing is like going to the toilet. The harder you push, the worse it gets.
Oh dear.
Just those splashes, you know.
Do we have to keep looking at that car? Can't we look at another car in the field?
I'm looking at Ed Cullen, mate.
Oh,
Giving Ed a bit of airtime.
I'm watching YouTube, so
Get on the stream on Discord, mate.
Where's Scotty Perrins? He's my man.
Scotty Perrins. Scotty has a cracker, sitting in 11th.
Yeah.
Hey, he's doing well.
Yep.
His improvement has been awesome.
He loves
Yeah,
his
that's
track,
it, Ron,
he
Scotty.
reckons.
Well, and the
Got
top
great
couple of guys have to pit very soon, so.
At least that's not a vomit paint job. It's close, but not quite.
Yeah, well, speaking of paint jobs, Tim's, the...
Oh, hang on, let's not go there. Let's not go
Yeah,
there.
keep going.
We've had a debate in the PBR chat.
Go on. And?
They're
Timmy,
just something worthwhile next season.
Timmy, when you say a debate, I'm sure the C word comes up a hell of a lot in your debates. if Mark Peck is involved.
Oh, it sounds like there's nearly all of them there, so it must be a mass debate.
Hey, let's put it this way: when you get the model of car incorrect and paint the car, and that person has no respect for the work that's gone into it, yeah, a lot of C words came out. The bloody painter's got no idea what he's doing. Painter's got no idea what he's doing.
The painter never gets enough respect.
I think it's quite a difficult job to do.
17 members, it's a nightmare.
I've delved into trying to do iRacing ones on Photoshop, and okay, I don't have the time to do it.
My question is, Timmy, don't get him perfect wheels.
You don't want the purple wheels, or you do want the purple wheels? Okay.
The wheels are up to you, mate.
I better put some purple on your car.
The colour of your wheels is up to you, Scotty, and your paint.
Because you need your purple high heels to match your purple handbag, Scotty.
Who is mirrors?
That's only because Tim's already stolen the pink ones.
Well, it's tempted. I'm going black this year, next season. Sorry, colourless dark. Is that what you meant to say?
Colourless dark.
Very dark shades of grey.
Oh, your bedroom talk's shocking.
You got to admire Jeff Eddy though to get up bloody 3 o'clock in the morning to come race with us. Pretty impressive effort.
Well, yeah.
The boy's crazy.
Oh, so
love
Gary's
having him race with us.
Gary's doing well, isn't he?
And Jeff's sitting in the top 10 of the championship too.
Yeah, he's been consistent. He's kept it on track. He's not the fastest around the circuit, but mate, he gets there every week, which is and he gets an outcome every week, which is brilliant. Couldn't ask for any more.
Well, I plan on changing
time with him.
I plan on changing the top 10 next week.
Well, that's a good plan, Mark.
Scotty Perez to finish top 10.
I'm sitting outside in 11th, so I'm going to. Brazil is not. I wouldn't say a favourite track, but a track that I do like driving. So beware, top 5. I'm coming.
Are we at Brazil next week? Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, we are.
Yep.
Jos Carlos.
It's a good track.
And that means, Scotty, that means you've got to get a Brazilian before the race.
Absolutely.
Becky will give it to you too.
I thought you had IPL laser treatment a couple of months ago, Scotty.
So Benny.
Yes.
Craig Healy is asking, are we running a new paint for next season in the Taipan?
To be confirmed.
Ooh.
Okay.
Sounds
A lot of
exciting.
cars just diving.
Come on, if anyone knows Ben, that's a yes.
Look
To be
forward
confirmed
to
means
seeing it on track.
it's not a yes or a no. It's a I need to sort that. I need to sort one out.
Scotty's just moved up to 5th. Is it 5th?
Yep, Scotty in 5th.
Yep, 5th.
Nice.
Reshuffle after that pit.
Yep.
No, he's in 5th, alright? Doesn't matter about the pit. When you're leading,
now.
that's it. When you're leading, you're leading.
Yeah, it
Well,
was the
thing is
same
now
Craig I missed last night.
Everyone's completed their first stop now.
Yeah.
Blow the siren.
From what I heard last night from Blanchy was saying to Scotty, push harder. Your mum had to.
There you go. So everyone's pitted.
That just went to a new level.
Hey Scotty, isn't that fighting words? Hey Scotty.
After I gave you the rep, off.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Scotty, when they say, "Have you got anyone to thank?" Just remember not to thank Hoffy. Huh?
Yeah, I want to thank everyone but Hoffy.
Yeah.
So Craig Healy.
on Saturday night. I'd like to thank Hoppy for not coming.
And what the hell is Will doing here? I'm sitting here looking in the mirrors. I'm going, where the hell did Will come from? I thought, where's this pace come from tonight?
I had it last week, but the problem was I ran into you.
Yeah, true. Why do you think I was keeping a sizable gap between me and you?
I thought you were doing that.
At this point, I was glad I pitted early.
Actually, I will give. This was a track that was hard to run out in front and judge your pace. As to, is it? I had to keep looking at me relative and go, well, okay, do I go a little bit harder, a little bit deeper, or do I take it a bit easier? It was just a very hard track to sort of gauge.
Yeah, I found that when I was running in a pack, I was okay, but as soon as I was by myself, I just got lazy and lost a bit.
Oh, the middle of the race, I actually caught myself there a couple of times. If I wasn't careful, I was going to run long or wide, and I actually did a couple of times there on the last stint. And yeah, I just sort of, oh shit, wake up again.
Was that when you had your little lockups?
Yeah.
Yeah. I kept going, more of that.
Yeah, I think there was one coming under the bridge here, under the Corvette bridge. There was one I had later on in the race, and yeah, it was just those moments. Just your concentration was just you zoned out.
This track can do that to you though, because it's such a boring track.
Oh, it's not boring. It's just there's a lot of long straights, so you get an opportunity to sort of go right.
Take a breath, start thinking about stuff.
Yeah. Take a breath, start thinking about the next thing, and you get too far into that thought, and oh crap, you're on the corner.
Yes.
And at that point, you get a lot of tight corners after a lot of quick straights. Yeah, it's.
I just find Americans are not very imaginative when it comes to racetracks.
I actually don't mind this one.
That's because I just like ovals.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But Coda is so good,
one of their best tracks.
But it wasn't designed by an American.
Coda?
Yeah.
I'm not a great fan of Coda.
I hate it. I hate it with a passion.
Yeah, it's...
I'd rather drive Lime Rock.
Yes.
Any sim that I've tried Coda on, it's just a bugger of a track. It just doesn't feel natural. It doesn't flow.
Yeah, it's a Formula One track and nothing else.
Yeah.
Maybe good for bikes.
Sort of reminds you of the Chinese tracks and the Middle Eastern tracks.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, looking at that new track that's coming out, Fuji, that looks a lot like Winton.
Fuji?
Fuji's on its way out. It's been scanned.
Oh, no, Fuji's a fast track. Fuji is. Anyone that's used it on Gran Turismo or
Fuji has a ridiculously long front straight.
Yeah, it's fast.
Huge straight.
It's only the last couple of corners are sort of tight at Fuji. Otherwise, everything else is sort of bit open. So it's only depending on which layout they use, because there's a couple of different layouts of the last section of the track. It's got some tight corners there. It's got some tight corners there, but the rest of them are sort of faster and flowing. It's an interesting track.
It's good to see that there's small road tracks coming and not oval.
Yes.
Well, you got Magny-Core coming out.
Yeah,
that's something I thought of the other day. They don't have many French tracks.
Yeah, I'm surprised they don't have Paul Ricard.
Yeah, Paul Ricard would be a good one.
Now,
for the volume of French tracks,
Well, apart from Le Mans, what else is there?
in France, Paul Ricard. There's Le Castel, Paul Ricard.
Magny-Cours, isn't it? That's French. That's France.
Here we go.
Across from Bel-
Yeah, Magny Cause French. Yeah.
Here's one
But
for
I'm talking
Bulldog.
about on iRacing.
There's one for Bulldog.
Yeah.
Hang on, what did I
Dave,
say?
you're chasing someone, Dave.
Oh, God.
They're trying to get away.
I'm actually watching the footy here. Sydney are up by a point. Cracking game.
Oh, there goes Bulldog.
We still haven't seen the footage from Dave Bulldog wiping out a whole field at this track.
Oh, that's brilliant.
We've heard stories.
It's
we've
been
heard
on
the
iRacing
stories.
Down Under.
I'm not seeing your teammates in the chat either, so they can send it through.
Nah, they're slack. What I would like to see is a couple of New Zealand tracks. I think it's Highland is a great track.
Highland, yeah.
Yeah, that's a brilliant track.
I want to see going in.
But I have heard a little rumour, and I've got no idea which ones it is, but apparently there's 2 more Australian tracks coming at some stage.
Please be Sydney Motorsport.
Hopefully Eastern Creek and Hidden Valley, hopefully.
Please be Hidden Valley.
I've got no idea.
No one cares about the Northern Territory.
I got no idea what they are, because the person telling me wouldn't tell me what they are, but I have heard a rumour there's more coming.
Dave, no one cares you give hand jobs to horses either.
Well, they love it. Absolutely
the
love
actual
it. You
thing-
should see the smile on their face.
The actual thing that I'm commenting on some of the pages is if while they're out here, would they please scan a couple of the Australian speedway tracks as well? Like
Well,
Warrnambool.
From
Anywhere.
what I was told, they actually had contractors scan the Australian tracks. So they didn't actually come out and actually do it because of COVID. So I think, yeah, the fact that they've used a contractor already speaks highly of where they might be going with it all.
That'd be crazy not to. It's getting bigger and bigger in Australia. Especially now they're doing the E-Series again this year, so obviously the demand is there.
Yeah.
Somebody,
I think per capita population, Australia probably comes in as the second largest, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, we are.
Are we? Oh, wow.
Yeah, big
Really?
spenders apparently.
I was going to say, and let me finish the sentence. I
Nope.
think I read an article today that said about how much Australians are spent on computer games this year or during COVID. Now, I'd like to know how much we've spent on Sims. You know, and it actually really would be interesting to see what the growth of sim racing in Australia and what the money spent is now.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Because everyone just kept saying to me during COVID that there's a COVID tax on that, there's a COVID tax on that, every time someone would put something up for sale.
Yeah.
Well,
You've only got to see
money.
the amount of... Sorry, no.
I was going to say, you look at the amount of money that people have now invested in rigs.
Yeah.
You know, we've gone past the G29 with an office chair on a desk. Like, admittedly, there is guys out there probably still, but you have a look at what a lot of us are now running. As the wife worked out, I could have bought a Formula V and still had money left to go. Racing. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Have a look at the amount of...
There's that, but there's a lot of us are, working from home with multiple screens in front of us. So you're having to buy the PC rig, you're having to buy the screens, they're coming off your tax for work because you're using them for work, and then you've been able to put your money that you're not wasting on sitting in traffic for 2 hours one way and to get to the office into the rig. And it doesn't, surprisingly enough, it doesn't take too long to go, I've got all this cash that I hadn't normally spent, and you've got enough to buy yourself something reasonable. So it's just surprising.
And I think as a country, I'm not sure on the exact figures, but I think it was something like we spend $20 million overseas as tourists, which is double what we get coming in as tourists. And with COVID, nobody went anywhere. So where did all that money go?
Yeah.
in the sim rigs.
Simrigs.com racecraft.
HRS, HR Sims, you know.
HE sprint pedals.
Yep.
Oh, does someone want to buy me some of them?
Magnian.
Won't make you any quicker, Dave.
No.
No, but you'll be my best friend.
It says that your sponsors are paying cash, Dave, so they should be happy to talk to that.
You and me both, Dave.
My main sponsor lets me race.
Actually, does your sponsor pay money, or do they just give you free horse rides?
Well, I don't know about rides, but I can get on the horse and off pretty quick.
What I heard was that his major sponsor laughs the hardest at him riding a horse.
Oh, she did. She was pissing herself laughing a bitch.
Hey Dave, how much would it cost? How much would it cost to get you to reenact it for us and film it?
Oh, there you go. A set of HEs. That would do it.
Go for the ultimates, mate.
I've had quite a few drinks. I'll go out there.
Now,
it'd be a perfect reenactment.
Dave, I was going to say I would do feel for you because the only horse I've ever been thrown from was a Welsh mountain pony, and the bastard trot on me.
Oh, Jesus. I've gotten on the horse plenty of times bareback, but it was just the fact that I was drunk, bareback, and no bridle. But even if
that normally ends up with a kid. Drunk, bareback, and no bridle. Yeah, that's normally a kid.
Are they horses out there named Dave Jr.?
I did end up with twins, so...
You did it twice in one night.
That's it. I believe the expression is double dipped.
Scotty.
God, I hope she doesn't watch us back.
What's her email?
Question, why they pick on you, Dave?
Because I'm an easy target. Because I look like a giant nose, and noses are for picking.
Fair enough.
Jeez.
He's so happy.
Scotty, I'm just taking the pressure off you, brother, because I know they were picking on you before.
Yeah.
Now,
we end up with the whole story again.
Oh, he always gets back there. We've got a request out of the chat, and I'm going to ask everyone to be silent, and I'm going to hand the keys over to Blanchy. We've been asked for Blanchy to talk us around a lap.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, am I going to sleep? Fucking hell.
Yeah, can you give me time to grab the pillow?
This is the straight.
Oh.
Once upon a time. Now, you're supposed to give me the in-car view too, aren't you?
Yeah.
You've got it.
Is this right?
Okay. I'm not panning to the helmet, no.
Here we are. Okay. Where do we start? Where are we? Now I just worked out where we are.
We're not at Winton, alright?
You might want to watch...
You're throwing this on me. So anyway, over the bridge here. So we'll start with this one. Important to get out wide on the entrance here, and you're looking for that join to the grass on the right. And because downhill, loading up the front brake, get out real hard and wide. I tended to stay in two and let the car roll through there. All night, I was so cautious through here, lifting early and not changing till I was nearly at the apex to change down from second to third. Short shift here, third, fourth, coast and get on the gas early. Same again down the hill, but you can carry it too far and try to get the front wheel dipping through the apex of the corner there. And balancing the car so much through here, just continually on off the throttle, a little bit of trail and brake to help it turn. And as soon as I'd see the gutter here on the right, I'd light it up, change up to gear and actually get it to drift a little bit coming out of the corner. Fast lift there, a little bit of trail and brake to help it turn. Through here, fast, straighten the car up to come into tight right-hander, just past the 4 marker. Hold it in third, again right wheel over the top of the curb. Just let the car flow around there, fourth. just lift, maybe a little bit of trail and brake to help turn on the gutter. And I don't know, didn't see many people do this. I pointed here out to the curbing on the left and then turn the car in through third gear up the straight. And I didn't see a lot of people doing that last night, whereas I'd go out as wide as I could there. Down the straight. Who's going, nah?
No, it's just, someone just read the comments. It was good.
Yeah. Just to finish off the lap, through there, hold it in third, get on the gas early, pick up a bit of time. Had to be so careful coming down here. If you went too long on the brake, it really crucified you wide in the corner. That's not too bad. Not half bad exit speed, and that's a lap.
That's awesome, Blanchy. Now, Hoffy, did you learn anything?
Thanks, Blanchy.
Yeah, I did. Thanks, Blanchy. Pity we finished the bloody race already.
I was home during the week and on one afternoon, and Ben left up where I could pull off a test session. So I pulled off a test session and I started doing some laps, and I worked out I could do an out lap and a full qualifying lap with only 9 litres of fuel. At that stage, my best time was a 6.7. By the time I finished, I was into the 5s, and this was only going out with 9 litres of fuel on board. I would have actually had a 2:05.8, but I stuffed up the last corner, so I was in the 2:05.9s. Then I went back out with 60 litres of race start fuel on board, and my very first attempt, I did a 2:06.3, but I couldn't replicate that on race night.
Well done. Well done.
Mm.
And how much practice did you put in for the race?
A little bit.
A little bit. What's a little bit?
A little bit.
Oh.
Enough.
Well,
No worse than anyone else. No more than anyone else.
oh, okay.
Come on, Dave. Dave was still faster than me on race night.
Barely.
I put in a good
I don't
40
know.
laps.
40?
I don't know, the way you come back in this last stint, you haven't pitted yet, I don't think. Actually, I've got a question. Did you pit one lap after me, or did you pit the same lap?
Lap after.
Wells in this lap.
And I think I still had about 16 litres on board.
Hey?
So,
Have you been to the Hoffy School of Fuel Saving?
no.
Maybe.
But yeah, I did a lot of clutching under the safety car, so there was a lot of this track under safety car where I just did not have any fuel use.
You also
at all.
you filled full as well on the pit stop, didn't you?
Mm.
Yeah, I did. So I was shocked on that.
Where I only took 80 litres on top of what I had in the tank. I think it was.
Yeah, we'll see. I filled as well, and I was doing the same. I was clutching as soon as we come back out under the safety car.
Yeah.
And when I pitted, I only had like a litre left. And then I'm watching the relatives, and I'm going, hang on, Dave's not there. He's disappeared.
Yeah, you went a lap later than me. Yeah, you went one after me.
I came in. I still had a couple more laps in the tank, but it was just getting a bit much of a handful.
I was going to say, whoever tuned your motor, they definitely done a good job on the fuel.
Doing well, Scotty. Third place at this point.
Mm.
Hey, Hoffy.
Yeah.
He done 116 lap.
You practice hall.
What?
Nothing wrong with 116 laps.
Wish I had that.
Ben, who did the don't say who, but what was the number for the most laps?
Oh, I've got no idea. I was for you.
Oh, okay.
I know I didn't get a lot of practice time this week. No, what my trick, especially this track, this sort of track is like I'm not using a lot of engine braking. So yeah, I'm hitting the braking marker, but I'm shifting down quite low in the rev range. So I think doing that at the end of these straights, as well as sort of a lift before the braking zone does, over cumulative number of laps, does actually help save some fuel. So
yeah. Oh, it all adds up. And yeah, that's why I sort of commented. I thought, well, you did really well, because yeah, because I thought I was doing okay on fuel, and then I seen you've done another lap. And you're like, okay, he's left me behind there, literally.
Yeah, no, and I'm pretty sure I had at least another one or two in it. There was at least another one in it. And when I did come into pit, and it was like, oh no, it's just getting sketchy.
Yep. Yeah, well, considering you had steering damage for that long, you've done really well.
Yeah, and I that might have been the other thing, is that caused me to back off, like to make sure I rolled off early on some corners. So that probably helped with the fuel as well. On top of that, I'm lead-footed, so there are a lot of corners, like the one I turned it on. I'll upshift, so I'll hit second on the way in and upshift early. So get it down into the gear to turn the car, upshift early. Yeah, it bogs a little bit, but it also means that I don't light it up. So
see, I've got into the technique on the corners like that one there, the one where you spun. I've never used second through there. I just roll it through in third and try to maintain the corner speed higher. And I think it pays dividends in that you're not unsettling the car as much.
True.
What's that?
He said bugs. Sorry, I've been out for dinner. Had some mouse drink.
There we
Took me a
go.
long on last days.
So you got Faz with the Haggis pinball livery, which is quite striking little livery he's got now.
Yeah, we're getting some interesting liveries here. It's great to see the variety.
And Scotty Perrins, you still there? Yep. Ben Ed,
See you up there, mate.
doing very well, buddy.
Yeah, great run last night, Scotty. So you got
that's what I was going to say.
You got your monitors worked out?
Mate, what the fuck did I do?
Just take it, Bugs.
You told him to stop looking in his mirror, Vargs. It's helped him a lot.
No, I didn't say shit. It's all Scotty. It's all just good work and good consistency.
It was consistent laps. You did well, mate.
Oh, I didn't give you any help with this one, so I reckon you don't need any more help from me.
Well, I was going to say, when the camera's been on Scotty, some of his lines, like, it's been a real improvement to watch some of these lines are spot on.
Yeah. I'm really impressed with everybody in Split 3. Everybody's improved massively from last season to this season, and from the start of this season to week 11.
There's one thing to being
everybody.
There's one thing to being fast, but there's one thing to being just consistent overall. And even in Split 1, you got people that are can get up the front end of the quali, but then when it comes to their race pace, it isn't quite there.
Yeah,
I mean that's what everyone needs to work on is consistency, not just
great example. That's
one lap fast pace.
I see my teammate Mr. Latham in with us once again, fourth spot again last night, and he's not a great qualifier, but that's 2 races in a row that he's got up to 4th spot in a race.
Well done, Pete.
Yeah, awesome job.
Hard work and determination, that's all. And the fossil flying, of course.
Again, it's all down to just being consistent and keeping on the track and minimising the amount of times you go off and fuck up, basically.
Well, that's the key. That's what cost me last night. It was the 4 or 5 times I dropped the wheel off.
Yeah, 0 off tracks last race and 4 last night. So, yeah, so it helps staying on tracks that many days off.
Yeah. And this corner you could run it a lot wider out to the on the exit, so you could basically the second last corner, that left-hander, you could punch it on the apex and run it wide onto that extra bit of bitumen.
Yeah.
And then point it back in onto towards the curbing, coming into the braking zone. Quite a few tenths per lap to be made up on that, because you make it up on the exit.
That's right.
The very last quarter cost me a lot last night. Braking away too early, gearing down too early, but just to make sure I made the corner. Otherwise I'd end up in bloody sand.
Yep.
Yeah, I had some issues with that late.
That one and the corner they're coming into now. If I didn't brake early enough, I'd overshoot it and end up. Everyone seems to run off track, right? Tend to not keep it, go that extra bit wide. Yeah, it works for a lot of people, but it's not for me.
And yeah, look, it certainly trying to get maximise the track. If you come at it at the wrong angle or the wrong speed, or you've got a little bit too much throttle on, it'll unsettle the car and it actually makes it worse. But when you find that spot on line and pick it, it will pick you up a bit of time. But this track, yeah, slow in, fast out. A lot of corners I was losing 1 to 2 tenths on the way in, and focusing on getting to the apex and getting on the throttle as soon as I could on the way out. And that 2 tenths that I lost on the way in, I'd pick it up and then and maybe gain an extra tenth down the next straight. And this is how I kept, reeling people in. It was just apex, exit, and try and get a good run. And you could see the laps that I wasn't pulling anybody in. I was stuffing up my exits. This straight after turn 2, you don't get a good exit out of here. You just watch your delta drop, and it's like, and 2 tenths and 3 tenths and 4 tenths. By the time you get to the next corner, you've lost, 3/4 of a second, which really hurts your race long term. So that's the kind of track this one is.
We had any safety cars in split?
We had one at lap 3.
You missed already.
Yeah, and on that Bugs, the drivers that pitted on the safety car, they're paying the dividends of it.
Yeah, bloody hell, they'd make it to the end with 1 stop.
Yeah, there was only about 5 of us. It was probably 5 of us that only pitted under the safety car.
6, I think.
6.
Yep, it's on screen there.
Thanks.
My eyes aren't too good. I've got it on little screen.
Yeah, so Blanchy, Munro, Garbutt, Hayes, Perrins and Eddie all pitted at lap 3.
Then Galley came in the one after, didn't he? Andrew Galley.
Yeah, Andrew was damaged though.
Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a run in with Dunn early, I think, which
But I
damaged
reckon
him.
that paid him
Still helped
dividend.
Yeah,
It helped him. Yeah.
yeah. They put him on a similar strategy as you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, Blanchy, I've figured out your practice laps for you, mate, if you want to know.
What's that?
So Scotty done the most practice laps this week.
Oh, did he?
Hey,
292.
go Scotty.
Oh, Jesus.
Hey.
Within
Well,
bets and about another 1,000 outside of bets.
Probably.
Yeah.
So, Andrew reckons you're a practice whore, but you were 17 people done more laps than you, Chris. So,
Yeah,
Really?
You're not including the AI races that Scotty did in between.
yeah.
Monitors correct, okay?
Hey, Scotty, what
Sorry, Ed?
percentage do you put the AI on?
Um, 40, 70.
Crank them up all the fucking way.
Yeah, I've tried a couple recently where I've put them up to between 180.
Oh,
100,
how did you go?
125, 125.
Yeah,
See what they're doing different.
yeah.
So, I pulled down the AI-enabled collection from Trading Paints for V8 Supercars 2022. So that's nice to be running with that sort of field. Set the AI to. I actually watched the lap times. Let the AI run and watch the lap times, and found between say 68 to 103% was the time split between pretty much the bottom end of split 3 and the top of split 1.
Okay.
That was what I found looking at what the vets were doing in practice, from Greg and Jamie through to all of us sitting here in split 3. So I found it 68 maybe at the lowest, to about 103, 104. Track dependent, of course, but that was sort of the range.
With that percentage, man.
Very quiet, Scotty.
Mic sound.
That's better.
Yeah, that's better.
I'm qualifying around between 15 and 10 with the AIs, which I'd be
nice.
Roughly where I'll be qualifying on race night.
We had a few changes of positions towards the end of this.
Mm.
We've still got 10 laps to go.
Yep.
Everyone's pitted now too.
Yep. All the stops have been done.
And my mate didn't stick around to watch.
Which mate?
Dave.
He's going to go fall off a horse.
I was going to say, when you said here that there's 10 laps to go, about this stage, I remember I'm looking at the screen and I'm going, okay. I'm looking at, I'm looking at where Dave is, and I'm going, yep, he's not going to make a second a lap on me. Yep. Yeah, I'm just going, yeah, I'm just doing the sums in my head. I'm going, yeah, I can afford to, but as long as he doesn't gain a second a lap, I'm right.
Yeah. And I'm doing the opposite. I'm like, come on, get the damn exit right. Chase the delta, catch him, right? Because I think I'd managed to do a couple of full tank runs, and I knew with the 207 pace I wasn't killing the tyres as long as I didn't light them up. So you could push as hard as practical, or hard as you could, hard as I could anyway, all the way through the fuel stint. About the only thing I needed to do was bring the brake bias forward a couple of notches as the rear got a little light.
What did you run the bias at?
Practice 49.5 pre-race, and then ended up just leaving it at 50.5. Moved it forward a little bit, every time it started to get a bit squirrely as I used fuel, and I think I ended with 59.9 towards the bottom of the tank.
It was Christian and I believe. Well, I know I did. I was 52.5 the entire race.
Yeah, I was 51.4. That's what I practice on most of the week and set most of my quickest times on. And in the race, I started with that on full tanks, and something I hadn't struck in my test runs through a full tank load. I felt I was starting to get some front lockups not front. I was starting to get some rear lockups, so I did move it forward to about 52.4 as she lightened up, and then when I went back to a full tank, I put it back onto 51.4 and repeated it again.
Yeah. And I think that's important to remember when you go into the pits and put fuel in, reset your brake bias, and have a quick look at how much fuel you've got when you change your brake bias. So if it's starting to get a bit squirrely and you move it forward to stop rear lockups, have a quick glance at your fuel. If it says, you know, you started with 60 litres and you're down to 30 litres and you move it forward 2 notches.
Well,
Be aware of that.
I left it off.
Sorry.
Yeah, bugs.
I was saying, when I set my fastest up on 52.5, I went, well, I'm leaving right after the race.
Yeah.
There we go, and it wasn't the best, but I don't know, got a top 10, so good enough.
I have been guilty on a couple of races of running rearward bias, but I've been out in front, which is good. But I did see the prime example last night where it can lock you up, and I think it can bring you unstuck, and that was after the restart on that bottom corner at the end of the back straight. Somebody went off, and then somebody else touched their brakes, and then they spun as well. And I thought, and as soon as I seen that occur, I thought, yeah, they got the bias rearward, and yeah, the second car's gone to take emergency action, and it just turned him as well. So it can be good in a qualifying pace to go rearward, but I am being very cautious about it in a race situation when you're around other cars having it too far to the rear.
Daisy's got a new sponsor, Mass Sport.
I kept looking at my relative and panicking that Macmillan was catching me so quick. He kept taking like 2 seconds a lap off me. I'm like, fuck.
That's why, because you kept going on the grass.
Nah, because I kept looking at my relative and not watching the track.
Yeah, you got to watch the track.
As stupid as it sounds, if you keep locking up at the front, keep winding your bias forward. Sounds stupid, but give it a shot.
I left it on 51.4 the whole race.
I reckon 49.5. Heck in the race, up to about 49.8.
Yeah, and that's what I was running in practice as well. I just had those few moments coming down to the left-hander on the back straight before Corvette Bridge where I'd lock a rear left, and it's like so I just moved it forward a little bit. It stopped me from doing that one bit, and that rear left tyre was one of the ones I needed to keep.
Is that like the fourth corner when you're going up and over up to the 90-degree left-hander?
Yeah, and the one at the end of the straight there as well, getting back from full tilt and 6 back down to second gear.
I was doing that in third.
Back to second as well, yeah.
I was doing that last corner in third gear.
Yeah, so the one wheel's coming around now. Yeah. But having rearward brake bias, you get great turn-in, awesome for trail braking. I think with the long races we do, it's too easy to be a little bit off with the current talent level that I've got, and wipe yourself out by braking half a car length too late.
If you can get away with it, you're better off leaving it in a higher gear, because just by putting it down that extra gear, you're going to chew up your tyres by spitting it in second, up to third or whatever.
Yeah, so I find though that I've got to shift it down to get the turning, and that's, I think, my driving problem, not a car problem.
Or probably braking it that tiny bit too late.
Yeah, no, it's more a brain problem. Like I'm listening to the revs, I'm not really looking at my speed. So if if I go in, I'm meant to be in high revs in second gear or 3/4 revs in second, that's the right speed. If I'm in third, I'm way too quick in, but I'll short shift up into third before I get into the throttle. That's how I deal with that. But that's my driving inputs and how I deal with it. So once I get more familiar with the car and can actually equate a speed in multiple gears to, I'll be able to do that a lot better.
So, John, question for you. What brake wires were you using?
51.4.
Oh, okay. Because I was using 49.6, I think. But you and me had a similar race where we had a couple of little offs, about 3 or up to 5 offs, and I felt the back end, like I kept touching the grass on the entry, so the back end was, obviously locking and just sliding on the grass and causing those little 5 or 6 offs.
Yeah.
Yeah, see that corner there, that's one of the few where I'd use second gear.
Yeah. Oh, so after the second stop, I knew I had better tyres, so I was just pushed too hard to try and catch Scotty. That was my problem. And I was starting to make some good gains, and then I think I've either worn the tyres out or worn myself out, or probably both.
Similar race, both of you and me.
Once I knew you were about 13 seconds behind me, John, I backed off a bit.
Yeah, I got it to 8 seconds there at one stage.
Yeah.
I knew I was coming, but I was literally having to push quali laps the whole time, which, when you've already done 30 odd laps, your mental strength's not quite there anymore.
Yeah, so I was rolling.
Go, Chris.
No, it's
Maybe
right.
while
I'm watching the wrong one. And that's what we were talking about before. It's so hard, so fatiguing, that race, that track.
Yeah, it was hard. So many times I started with a wind cheater off, like practicing that, and the wind cheater was thrown off after about 10 laps. You really had to work hard.
Well, I was cooked about this stage.
Oh,
as the race starts, air conditioning comes on.
Yeah.
Well, we've got six to go. So.
Yeah, well, not done yet.
At this stage, I'm mostly thinking, thank God he didn't make this one a 300 kilometre.
Yeah. Bugger of a track to do 300 Ks on. I think everyone would have fallen asleep at some stage.
Yeah, could we do driver swaps? Right. Well, there's an idea for Ben. Maybe if the splits get too big, they force a driver swap in the races.
Teams around.
Yeah. Well, make them teams even if there's too many.
Ben Anthony's, if you're still watching somewhere, Anthony Visma's upset because the practice is shut down in Interlagos. It's shut down in Interlagos, Anthony, so you can watch the last 5 laps of Split 3.
That's right, Anthony. You should, and you might, actually learn how to keep it consistent laps. I've watched your race last night, buddy, and yeah, it's not better, buddy.
That'd be interesting, Matt, to see where Split 3 drivers would have finished in Split 2.
I'm still in the session. I don't know what's wrong with everyone else.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think I was watching the Split 2 race, and I think our pace was a bit slower. I think but then consistency again. I suppose if you go and bring up the iRacing results and have a look at your consistent lap times, it'd sort of give you an idea, your average lap times.
And
total time served.
Yeah, and it was a different race because there's Benny Hazy
Moen
again. It was a different kind of race for us though too, because the top 3 guys were really trying to stretch it.
Jump on Matty. Jump on Matty.
Well, if they don't see you come off the roof.
I did it.
Oh, mower man.
Yeah, my
Hey,
mole
he's
plate,
mowing.
exactly.
Well, I'm not giving anything away, but stay on Matty.
Stay on Matty.
I did hear some words during about this stage, so
I'm not sure whether he'd caught up to his teammate or not, but yeah, stick with Matty.
You're gonna have to, John. You're gonna have to show where you were making me laugh on the last 3 laps.
on the main straight.
Yeah.
I thought you were laughing.
I'm going. He's either trying to break the draft or he's just trying to break my concentration by making me laughing my head off.
No, he's just trying to stay awake. That's the problem. He's falling asleep at the wheel. You know? Like, oh crap!
And I thought to myself, if we were racing for 9th and 10th, I was like, I'd be a little bit upset, but it was just a minor place, you know. I was absolutely cracking up over it.
I was going to show it. Don't worry, it was coming.
You need to jump up to Dave in a minute.
Change lanes once, don't you?
No, it was on the straight itself. I wasn't braking. There was no overlap.
I'm going to say this.
Pretty sure
say
it's round here somewhere. Oh, no. Oh, he's on it. He's chasing him.
Yeah, this is where Dave and Will are on.
Yeah. We had a good battle here, Will. Both of us,
And I was cheering you on. I'm going, yes, please, because you're slowing each other down the way you're doing it.
Yeah, I know, because I'm coming up behind Will. I'm like, come on, get up, go, let's go catch Chris. I don't care who's in front. Whoever's in front, drag the other one up, and then we can go for it. Yeah, no. I was just, as soon as I saw that curbing, I was hitting 4th gear, and the lower revs, but the torque, I was getting a good drive out of there, and I wasn't having a lot of slide coming around there.
Not sure what happened there, but anyway.
I was finding the slide angle was good because it was straightening the car up for the exit. But at the cost of the rear tyres.
Yeah, and that's what I spent a lot of time trying not to do most of the race.
I think you went in. Did you pit a couple of laps later than me? So your tyres would have been a lot better than what mine were at that stage.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Probably only 1 lap because I think Will pitted the same lap as me, so your tyres are only 1 lap fresher.
Yeah. But I at that point, I'd got my car fixed. I got new tyres on it, and I did my best to not overdrive it around the corners. Like through the corner, I tried to straighten it up and get on it as soon as I could without having a lot of opposite lock or understeer on the steering wheel. Now,
this is where I put my drift into action, wasn't it?
I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, was this when you got back at me? Yep.
I don't know how I pulled that off.
It gripped up.
It was a real sphincter moment, I got to tell you.
Yeah, and yeah, I could see you out of the corner on the right screen going, he's just coming across. I'm just going to brake a little bit more here and give him the apex. And it's like, straight across the nose. It's like, okay, we're time to go again, next lap.
And meanwhile, I'm up the front watching me relatives cheering. I'm going, yes, please, some more of this.
Oh, what have we got? We got 2 laps to go, haven't we?
Yep.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
Oh, 2.5, sorry.
3?
2.5. Another dive? No,
Still-
yes.
Still time to catch you, Chris.
That's a good
You
pull up.
kept, you kept trying
well,
to
that's-
strike me out.
No,
Well,
there was.
that's-
I actually braked at some of these corners a lot later than you will. So
Okay.
where you see me diving up the inside like that, it's like you've caught me out, and I didn't want to pile drive into the back of you and destroy both of us. And then come back, tuck back in behind you. You know, it's just missed that half a car length or whatever on the braking marker. And I got to say, this is one of those terrible tracks. If you're tucked right up under somebody, you can't see where you're meant to be braking.
Interesting you said there, Dave, about trying to catch me. At this stage, it is going through my mind. I'm thinking I've only got to run off one track once, and they've caught me.
You know, Blake, that's what we were hoping for.
Yep.
I'm sorry I ruined. Yeah, I can't give away it, but I wasn't taking things.
So was I.
And that's your teammate wishing that.
Here you go, Ed, just for you.
Yep.
Oh, was it last corner? Last corner, was it? I don't.
Are you drunk? It's driving, Miss Daisy, isn't it?
Isn't that how they drive in Auburn?
Nicely caught, Ed. Nicely caught.
Great.
That's just how they drive in Auburn. Below the road.
I was just trying to make it hard for Ed to get in the slipstream.
It worked because I didn't stuff up that corner.
That's why they had to build a freeway around the town to protect the interstate drivers from.
Nah, they put it straight through. Up the guts in the middle.
Yeah.
Greatest drag strip they ever built. Of course, it's literally 500 metres to the west of me.
I was going to say, what is wrong with Albury? Because it's the only bypass that I've ever seen that the residents have actually allowed to be built through the middle of town.
I think it's got a lot to do with the fact that to get from Lavington to West Wodonga used to be a 20 minute, half an hour drive. Now it's only 10 minutes.
Oh, it makes a huge difference. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it was 10 minutes through Albury. Then when you hit Wodonga with all the morons, you added on 15 minutes.
Thanks, Hoppy, for coming in to help me here. No one else is with me.
I'm not a local to the area, so I can't.
If you didn't have a highway, no one to go there.
I just used to get lost with all the right angle turns as you went through Albury. You know, up here, turn right. Oh yeah, then another turn left, another turn.
Yeah.
Really? Couldn't you have made it straight through town on the old road?
Yeah, it was shocking, wasn't it?
Oh, it was. Every town that was bypassed, I used to cheer.
Yep.
So it's dual carriageway now from here all the way to Melbourne and here all the way to Sydney, so can't complain with that.
Yeah, we've only got Coffs Harbour to go up here.
Oh yeah,
4 seconds
getting
on
around
you?
that bloody hill.
Yeah, the problem now is with the dual carriageway, they're making so many new parking bays in the middle. You know, truckies are deciding to make a new parking bay.
So what were you thinking here, Blanchy? Don't fuck up the next corner. Don't fuck up.
Don't fuck up.
Breathe.
It was basically really take a lot of notice of the braking markers and go that little bit early.
Yeah.
I knew I had the time to play with.
Yeah.
You know, as long as I didn't do anything stupid and run wide on a corner. So I was giving myself a little bit more margin for error and just allowing the time to be eaten up a little bit.
Yeah.
This, John?
Yeah, we're going to show it, don't worry. It's coming, Ed. I'm watching where we are.
I thought you were just playing around.
At the end? No, I wasn't. It was doing everything Blanchy said not to do.
Surely not the last quarter. No, he's just playing silly buggers.
Yeah, well, go and have a look. What are you doing?
Come on.
So me and John's virtually chased each other for the whole race, and this was about the gap. You know, I just couldn't get a gain enough to put pressure on him.
And I'd taken a breath at this stage and gone, just take it easy, relax, don't have to push.
He's had a massive improvement, hasn't he, Ed, over the last 3 or 4 races?
Yeah, he has. And I've gone, one more corner.
I got to about here and I go,
Oh shit.
Where's he going?
Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit.
Beautiful, Ed.
I eventually slowed down, nearly about give it back to him.
That was so generous of you, John.
Yeah, you won.
Good racing.
I wanted
Good
to have a
racing.
chat with him straight away, and I go, no, maybe give him until we have a talk. I'll be having a serious talk to himself at the moment.
Oh, I was cooked, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, bloody 4 degrees outside and there's no heating in this room, and I was cooked.
That early pit paid dividends.
Yeah.
Top 5 were all early pitters.
Yeah, well done, Michael. Awesome. What'd you qualify? 21st or something? And
Yeah, dead last.
And where'd you come?
5.
Yeah, that's a great.
Well done, mate.
Well done.
But the top 5, if they didn't pit early, then would have brought McMillan and Buckland back into the mix as well. So that was the move of the night.
I was
Yeah,
going
no.
to go in
No,
the
no, it wouldn't have.
I was going to do it, but all the Divi 1 blokes said the week before, they go, oh, the undercut doesn't work on these big long tracks, so I didn't do it.
Don't look at anybody.
That's why they told you that.
What does what does Div 1 know?
I
When
worked out I was
winning, I
going
knew it
to
was
do it.
on.
Yeah, I worked out I
There's
was
a
going to
difference.
do it.
Yeah.
But then I thought, I'm going to follow Blanchy and Dave just in case they don't do it.
These guys only pitted once then.
No, twice.
Oh, it was
Twice.
Yeah, still pitted twice. Yeah.
But yeah, first time under. But there's a difference between undercutting and there's a difference to pitting under safety car.
Yeah, I undercut John on the first one.
Yeah.
I come out and he was about 3-4 cars. You're a fair way behind me, John.
Yeah, but looking on the time you were stopped and the time I was stopped, I think I took on another 10-15 litres than what you did.
60, I think, maybe 60 litres.
Yeah,
we
see,
took our full tank under safety car, so
Mm.
we gained a
Yeah,
heap.
So how did you
Yeah.
guys gain from going in early, putting in more fuel compared to us guys? You know,
Because everyone
We're
was
going
running around
80
slow
Ks.
while we were filling up.
Mm.
Yeah, and then we started at the back of the field, whereas you guys then had to lose. What was it, about 40 seconds from the race
It'd be
pace
almost-
twice, whereas
Yeah,
we
almost
only
be
lost
a
it
minute.
once. Yeah,
Well, yeah,
so,
we really didn't lose a lot at all.
yeah.
Because everybody else had to peel off in front of us. Yeah, we might have lost 12 seconds in total.
But see, you got to be in that window to work. Whereas last week at that horrid little Japanese track, none of us did pit. I thought about it because, but then
The timing wasn't right, was it?
No.
Yeah, I was watching everyone else in front because I was sitting back about 6th spot, and I thought, no, there's still too much track position to give up.
Yeah.
Hindsight, considering Will took me out, I probably should have taken it. Would have put me in 7th spot.
It was all fucking Hazy's fault for being in front of me. I can't drive behind him. I've always got to be in front of him.
I gave you all the room in the world. If you watch the replay, I couldn't have been further left.
No, but if you weren't in front of me, I wouldn't have to pass you. It would have been
I
fine.
opened the corner. I went, the corner is yours, Will. Take it. And you went, yep, I'll take Blanchy on the way through.
That was what we were talking about before, the rear bias. Just fucking locked them.
If you noticed, I wasn't involved, even close to being involved in that hit.
Oh no, you were because
I
you
was
were
in
right
a
there.
safe spot. I seen you coming and went, I'm giving him fucking room.
And if Blanchy actually wasn't there, I reckon I would have made it around the corner apart from hitting the fence.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think Blanchie is what slowed you down and kept you on the track.
Roadblock.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe, Blanchy, when I hit you, you went up, right up on your side and practically rolled over.
Yeah, I ended up on the roof.
Okayama's got the flipjacks
Not wrong.
baked into the car. Yeah.
Yeah, I went grass, sky.
No wonder you pushed the wrong button. You were totally confused.
Anyway, boys, I'll wrap up the stream and say thanks for everyone for dropping in. And next week's our last week. Any thoughts, Blanchy? Any pressure, Dave?
Just finish.
Just finish.
pretty much the same too. Like it's anything can happen.
And Mark Dial's going to
Anything
smash the
can
ceiling in getting into the top 10. So these are all the things to watch for next week.
Oh,
I'm coming.
I don't know about
Well,
that.
let's
I got
hope
a
I'm coming.
stupid top 10 now.
Let's hope I'm there. Then nothing goes wrong. So yeah.
No worries. And we'll end the stream. Say thanks, everybody, and we'll see everyone again next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.
Thanks, John.